It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
I don't think people really think about the outcome that they're trying to achieve, or the outcome is just, I want to get my face out there, and they think that that's going to help their brand. And sometimes it does, but sometimes it does so much damage. I wish people would really think through the decisions before they actually post.
And that is Leanne Pilkington on our Thursday morning, and welcome back into the Real Estate Breakfast right around Australia, 7 days a week. What are we talking about? Well, we're talking your property news, of course, plenty of trends and market fluctuations. Many Aussie cities too, they're running at different speeds that we talk about. And with over 1,300 property podcasts, you too can keep pace of what is happening in your backyard. As I mentioned, Thursday, the week is starting to disappear and into double figures for the month of July. It is the 10th this morning. Let's catch up with Leanne Pilkington, who is the current president of the Real Estate Institute of Australia, and was one of the longest-serving presidents of the Real Estate Institute of New South Wales. I didn't realise that. Leanne, you've been in real estate for over 40 years. It's a long time, isn't it?
Oh, you are making me feel very old. But yes, you're right. It's an incredibly long time.
Yeah, I'm sure that you've got so many stories. We'll talk about them in just a moment, but I want some of your reaction to what you thought about Tuesday's RBA decision that was handed down by Michelle Bullock that did take, I think, many people by surprise.
Yep, me included. Most of us thought, the market had baked in a fall. Most of the economists were looking for a fall. So I think it surprised most of us. She did say, though, that it's not about the direction, it's about the timing. They just sort of seem to want to slow things down and potentially will look at a fall at the next meeting in August.
Yes, all eyes are going to be on August for sure. And if there's no cut in August, boy, that is going to be very interesting. But here is what I thought was an interesting comment from the RBA governor on Tuesday.
I'd say, though, it's not only interest rates that are the issue for the young people, it's the housing prices. There's nothing we can do about housing prices. And in fact, I've heard criticisms that we shouldn't lower interest rates because housing prices will go up. So we can't win. Can't put them up, can't put them down. I understand that. But again, what I'm saying is that provided we stay on track with our inflation, which that's what we're looking to do, then there is opportunity for interest rates to come down. The question of housing prices, of course, is nothing we can't do anything about, and that's a whole story for governments in particular.
Yeah, so trying to tame inflation is the role of the RBA versus the cost of the housing going up. That isn't the role of the RBA, but one conflates into the other, which is where you get that damned if you do or damned if you don't comment, Leanne, coming through from the governor. Probably some frustration.
Well, and it's true, right? Typically, when interest rates go down, prices do go up. That is the reality of it. And she's absolutely right. It's not their role. And we have talked about lack of supply for years now. I saw some research just this week, and the government's own Housing Supply Committee are saying that we're something like 262,000 properties behind for this year. So we need more supply, and the government has made all kinds of promises about what they're going to do about that, both state and federally. I don't know about you, but I haven't seen too much actually change yet.
As we mentioned, you've been in real estate for 40 years. Probably 20 plus years of those 40 have been, we'd like a lot more supply coming on.
Yeah, you're right. It's something that's been talked about for a really long time, but it didn't become a crisis until the last few years. We have talked about it, but I don't think anybody seriously thought that we were going to end up where we are right now.
All roads at the moment have led us to that very short supply. With regard to the governor's decision on Tuesday, I suspect that there will be a lot of those who are saving for a deposit to get onto the property market. As a result of that decision, they're saying to themselves, great, no cash rate movement. That equals property spikes being avoided.
That's true. And if you think about the amount of money that these interest rates falls are actually saving, it's, maybe $100 a month. It's not a huge amount of money. What it does do, though, is give confidence to people that all of the increases are over, that they can feel comfortable when they're borrowing money, that they're not going to be facing hikes. So it's really a confidence play. Yes, the extra money is nice, but a small decrease doesn't make a massive difference to most people.
Now, you've spoken about the need for a serious federal response to the housing supply issues. Every election cycle, a new party comes into town, a new bunch of ideas and carrot waving. We'll do this, we'll do that. But to me, it feels like we should sort of lay down a 20-year plan that all parties can commit to once and for all. And the Australian public says yes. At last, something really long-term, a signed commitment that has a chance around this chaos.
Wouldn't that be a beautiful thing?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, our political cycle just doesn't work that way. The terms are not that long. People don't make those long-term commitments. But a lot of the problems that we're facing is around construction. Not just construction costs, but trying to get the labourers to actually do, and the trades to do the construction that is required is a genuine challenge. There just are not enough people. There are not enough people coming through the system. There's not enough people coming into the country with the skills that are required. It's all very well in theory that they're going to build more properties, but the reality of it is they just don't seem to be addressing the reality of the constraints that we are experiencing.
Yeah, see, if you have a look at long-term infrastructural things, I mean, some of those can be 20 years long, but we're just not doing it around housing. And that's kind of the point that I'm making with regard to that. It has to be long-term because every time we change parties, exactly that scenario happens. All right, we are talking to Leanne Pilkington. We'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more after the break about this fantastic 40-year career that she's had. We'll do that next.
Decode the property market with insider knowledge and insights to better navigate your real estate journey.
And right now it is time for another property tip, and we're going back into Perth to catch up with Nikki, who we spoke to recently. And you've got a property tip for everybody this morning, Nikki.
My tip would be to potentially look at those properties that are currently tenanted on a long lease. We've got those investors selling off properties with a tenant for another 6 to 12 months. Quite often what we find is less competition because often those rents are a little bit lower, so less competition. So you might be able to snap them up for a lot cheaper than you would for a property that is owner occupied with more buyers fighting for it, let's say it like that.
Eager to expand your property expertise? Enhance your real estate know-how with us.
And it is a Real Estate Thursday. We are talking to Leanne, who has had a career in the real estate industry for 40 years. You were probably immersed in real estate from such a young age, working in your father's agency, I note, before most kids had part-time jobs. How did that growing up in the industry sort of shape your approach to leadership today?
Wow, that's a really interesting question. Yes, I started answering the phone in Dad's office as a 12-year-old. So I've seen an awful lot of change. We're talking the very early 80s. There was no internet. There were no mobile phones. It's a very different don't right now. And my leadership has changed. Dad was very old school. It's do as I say, not as I do. And, don't ask questions, just do as you're told. I'm a very different leader today because I've had to be. People just don't respond to that command and control leadership style the way we were forced to back in the 80s.
Yeah, if you go back to the 80s, back to your parents, there was no social media. One of the great things about parents today, and I don't have children, I've never married, but I get this from friends of mine who say, if you want to be informed in terms of your children and what they're doing, all you got to do is go to their social media or any social media. They say that TikTok is great for getting into, what is trending with children. I suspect that this is something where older, shall we say, CEOs, etc., they can keep tabs on what is happening in real estate by so much of the social media. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't have too much time to spend on social media, to be perfectly frank. My team, I've got a very transparent relationship with all of my team. So we have a lot of conversations around what's going well, what's not, what other people are doing and how the impact for them. Because social media, you've got to be clear from a business perspective at least. What's your intention? What are you trying to get? What's the outcome you're trying to achieve? Why are you putting that reel or that photo or that image up? It's not just about looking good. It's about wanting an actual outcome for the business. So we've got to stay focused on that.
Well, you kind of open up a whole can of worms there, because I'm constantly seeing, particularly in the Australian real estate industry with agents, etc., some of the content, you just put your head into your hands and say, why? Why are you doing that?
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I shake my head. That's a very long conversation we could have around that. I don't think people really think about the outcome that they're trying to achieve, or the outcome is just, I want to get my face out there, and they think that that's going to help their brand. And sometimes it does, but sometimes it does so much damage. I wish people would really think through the decisions before they actually post.
Your friends, if you're one of these agents that is constantly doing the selfies and doing some of these crazy videos, I should say that comedy, when it comes to real estate, that is such a fine line to walk. You've really sort of got to be on or off there. Most of the time it bombs. But your friends are not going to say, hey, what you're doing is a little bit naff on your social media channels. People won't say it to anybody, so they're really not getting the feedback that they need.
So true. And it's also, word feedback is also really interesting. Instead of asking for feedback after say I give a presentation, I don't ask for feedback afterwards. I say, can you give me some advice on how you think I could improve that for next time? And when people are asked for advice, they're much more willing to actually share what you might do next time rather than what you didn't do very well this time.
Well, I think you've probably said to all of those people that are unsure is to engage, put it in front of people, say, what do you think? Now, whether or not you get honest answers is something, completely different, because I do know of some people and they have asked me, what I think about some of what they've got on their social media. I'm very direct. I will just say, nah, that's not really working. I think you probably need to, get that off. But the reason people don't, of course, today is that people are easily offended. I've said this before. You say one wrong thing, oh, I'm offended. How dare you say that?
It's so true. And it's really important that you are open to receiving advice and feedback from people that you trust and that you value. If you value their opinion, then take it on board.
Absolutely. Hey, great to talk to you, Leanne. I'm sure the next 20 years of your real estate career is going to be busy.
Doesn't bear thinking about. Maybe 10 years.
Another 10 years and you'll be out. Yeah, good on you. All right. Well, thank you for once again coming on to the Real Estate Breakfast. We'll wait and see what the RBA does in August.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
It's the Real Estate Podcast, talking properties from 6 a.m. every day from every corner of the Australian real estate market.
Learn the rhythm. Now, the rhythm of an auction, it's a real thing, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. I think on average, most of my auctions take between about 7 and 9 minutes. It can move very, very quickly. I've had a number of buyers turn up 5 minutes late to an auction and they've already missed it. So great idea. Go and see some others. Get your head around them first.
What about the hidden cost of building inspections? Because buyers often, I don't know why they skip the pre-auction building and pest inspections to save money. It is absolutely insane. If you win and discover problems later, hey, it's too late.
I even offer for my buyers that have already conducted a building inspection to provide copies to other buyers at a reduced rate. And even with that, the buyers won't take up the opportunity to review a report and find out what's wrong with the property. It's like they want the surprise almost.
We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.